If you lose your job today, you lose your role as the strong friend in everyone's life. You lose your ability to fix everyone's problems. If you lose all of that today, who would you be? That's not a comfortable question, right? And I believe most of us don't even have the answer to it, but I think it's something we need to think about. I think a lot of us fill our lives with things or roles that keeps us so occupied so we don't have to face the stranger living inside of us. We have become so efficient at doing things to the point where we've forgotten the person who is actually doing the thing. Since I started this self compassion, or should I say self discovery series, I have been bumping into things that I did not expect to find. For instance, I had to take a good look at some of my relationships, and what I found was that certain people have gotten comfortable with being careless, comfortable being unrealistic because they knew that no matter what they do, I will be there to fix these things. Now, if you're a fixer like me, you must have noticed that problems don't get better when the owner of the problem is not interested in solving it. So you find that you can keep solving one problem over and over and over and over again just because a person who should be in the front and center of the problem is not ready to be accountable for that issue. So you'll find yourself carrying something that's not yours to the point where it keeps coming back over and over and again till you stop burning out over a problem that was not even originally yours. I couldn't account for so many hours of my days because I found that it was just being consumed with other people's chaos. And so I had to ask myself, why am I doing this? And if the other person is more interested in a solution, why am I killing myself over this thing? What is it costing me? What ego of mine am I trying to, um, satisfy? Like, what exactly am I doing? What do I get from this? I also had to start noticing the environment I was putting myself in and noticing the people who required so much emotional adjustments just to coexist with them. Environments where I had to shrink myself, monitor their moods, tiptoe around their emotions, make sure I don't ever say the right thing or, sorry, make sure I don't ever say the wrong thing, make sure I'm very watchful of the things I say so it doesn't trigger them to just go off. I couldn't share all my wins because based on their reaction, it seemed like it was not something they wanted to hear. I even stopped sharing my goals with them because they told me so many times that I was doing too much. These environments were just draining, taking so much from me without giving anything. So I started pulling back and trying my best to remove myself from this dynamics that were only taking and not giving me as much or not giving me at all. And it was very uncomfortable because when you've built your identity around being reliable, around providing what everyone needs, around being the person who gets things done, choosing yourself or deciding to let the chaos happen and let everyone fix it or letting everyone handle their own thing can feel very selfish. You could feel like, oh, you are now abandoning people. It could feel like you've decided to not be a good person anymore. But I kept coming back to this statement I made to myself some time ago. I said to myself that I do not want to play God in anybody's life. My reliability is something I value, you know, in myself, for myself. It is not something people get to exploit. It's not something people get to use because I have decided to be that way. And that was the boundary I needed to set with myself and anyone else because boundaries are not just for other people, they are for you as well. All the time I was spending in other people's chaos was also time I was spending away from myself. When I stopped feeling every hour was someone else's emergency, something unexpected happened. I didn't know what to do with all the time I had. I didn't have things that were just mostly for me. that I could use to fill up those empty hours that I have gotten back. In fact, someone asked me what I needed recently, and I couldn't even tell them because I didn't know what I needed. I went completely blank. I couldn't see one thing that I needed. I mean, everything that came to my mind was a task. We'll finish that project, we'll go to the gym, or sort out that information, or get things done around here in the house. Well, it was just a long list of to dos. And I just sat there and I was thinking, I was like, those are not needs. Those are like daily logistics. So what that means is I have spent so much of my life managing everyone's needs that I do not even know what I needed for myself. An actual emotional need does not look like a to-do list. Maybe you need to feel heard. Maybe you need to feel like you were chosen. Maybe I need to rest more without feeling guilty about it. Maybe I need to exist for a moment without being useful to anyone. I realized that I need to fill my life with things that for me, Dora's things, Dora's activities, Dora's hobbies, Dora's likes, and Dora's wants. And how do I achieve this, you may ask? Well, I believe the first step is to learn how to become my own friend. So that way I can give myself all the things I've been giving others. I chose being a friend, or rather friendships, because I love my friends a lot and I show them in different ways. So now I'm gonna try and pour some of the efforts I pour into my friendships. I'm gonna pour some of them back into me, pour that dedication back into me. I am going to be my own friend. What this also means is I'm going to start talking to myself the way I talk to my loved ones. I'm going to start talking to myself the way I talk to my friends. I'm going to start being available and being attentive to myself, just the way I make myself available to my friends when they need me. I do not think it's going to be easy. Learning anything as an adult is not easy. But one thing I know is I need to figure out who I am when I'm not a fixer. And I've already started doing that. I guess I'll just continue. But since I started, I would say that one of the things that has been very glaring is the extra hours I've gotten back. And so what follows that is quiet. That's the only way I can describe it, just sudden quietness. And because of that quietness, I have started hearing myself again. I've started noticing and discovering things that I actually like. I'm also returning back to the things I liked doing when I was younger. But right now, I am doing them again, but in a more mature way, like in a way that a woman in her 30s would do them. But also, very importantly, I am more sure of the things I don't like. Like, they are so very clear right now. And I've gone to the part where I don't have to feel bad for not liking those things. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't have to justify why I don't like them all the time. I'm refusing to tolerate things or people that I don't have to, and also refusing to explain myself. And I think that's what real healing is. I mean, it doesn't have to be dramatic, just you slowly, quietly getting reacquainted with yourself again. So I want to leave you with the question I started with. If you stripped away everything you do for everyone else, who is left? Do you know her? Are you curious about her? Because I think it's time we got to know her properly. See you in the next video.